our favorite little theorist from Game Theory, which, by the way, the channel has never been the same since he left, saw his cameo in the Five Nights at Freddy's movie. Apparently, he's running for president or becoming like a political official. I got no idea what's going on. This shit's been blowing up on social media. It was trending worldwide for like 2 days. But let's see what's going on with good old MatPat.
Just shook the internet and announced his entry into U.S. politics. But what is he doing? People in the replies of this tweet are...
And you know what's crazy? I fully endorse it. Hey, he did his thing. He got hella YouTube money. If he wants to run it down, go for it, man. Brother has my vote 100%. Hey, it's the same thing with Mr. Beast. I would vote for either of them, to be completely honest. Hey, you know what would be nice? Having somebody in politics that's younger than the age of fucking 70. It would be nice for all of the electives to not be Minecraft zombies for once.
Are visibly excited, but understandably confused. Some people even think that this is the start of his campaign for presidency, and while it's not at that level yet, the reality is that it can absolutely be the start of an ambitious political career. My name is Renu, and if you find this breakdown helpful, remember to leave a like and subscribe for more stories like this. Let's break down exactly what's going on and get right into it.
What if he's the opposite of your views? Well, then I'll have one conversation. It's really that easy, man. Like, here's the thing. Not everybody is going to agree with everything that you say. However, it's up to you to, when discussing politics, to make sure the people of which you're talking to are of sound mind, to where when you have disagreements, you understand why you're disagreeing, and perhaps being open to change your mind. Like, for example, I was pro-choice like 2 years ago, and now I'm pro-life after one good conversation with a friend. And yeah, as long as you're open-minded and you just weigh logic above everything else and you keep emotions out of it, I think it's fine talking to anybody about politics.
Now, if you don't know, MatPat is one of YouTube's largest creators. He's most known for his 19.6 million subscriber channel, The Game Theorist, but he's not just a silly gaming YouTube channel. He owns and manages several other channels about topics like film, food, and style. So what is MatPat doing? MatPat is helping to launch a bipartisan caucus within the House of Representatives, the Creator Economy Caucus. That's a lot of words, but let's break it down slowly. So what's important to note is that this is bipartisan, meaning that it intends to and has the support of both major political parties within the United States. That being the Democrats and the Republicans. And we have good reason to believe it's bipartisan too, because this press conference was jointly held, notably by Beth Van Dyne and Yvette Clarke. These are congresswomen who are within the House of Representatives, who are in charge of making laws and policies and getting them to pass through Congress. So what is a caucus? A caucus within the House of Representatives is a group of lawmakers who share a common interest or policy goal. Caucuses consist...
He read that off Google. You can see his eyes. He's reading. He didn't know what the fuck that meant. He Googled it and then he read it out loud. That's what he did. I can tell. And you know what? I fully support it, man. Fake it till you make it, bro. Hey, big ups. Huge.
Policy goal. Caucuses consist of lawmakers in Congress. These are formal members, and they're meant to represent the interests of certain people, and in this case, content creators. They work with outside stakeholders like MatPat and Steph in order to be better informed on topics that interest content creators so that they can better represent them.
Yeah, content creators is kind of in this weird spot that I think is going to become very, very, very regulated very soon. Whether anybody wants to admit it or not, the amount of power that social media has and Twitter and content creators alike have over the influence of what our next generations and current generations are consuming. I'll be real, content creators these days are becoming the new mainstream media. NBC, CNN, people aren't Fox News. People really aren't watching this shit unless they're like an outlier or they're like 70 years old and they hate the fucking planet. But everybody's on YouTube these fucking days, man. Everybody's on YouTube. Everybody's on Netflix. You know, streaming services are the way of the future. People really don't watch daytime television because, guys, do you really want to watch daytime television where every 30 minutes they run 13 minutes of ads? No. And unless someone's completely unemployed and they just keep it on for background noise, no one's really watching that shit the way they used to. Because now there's options. And there's so many ad-free viewing experiences that you can have these days because, guys, ads fucking suck.
So what topics and issues are important to the Creator Economy Caucus?
And also, cable is expensive as fuck for such a piss poor product.
The video, MatPat talks about the following issues:
online privacy, responsible use of AI, addictive algorithms, protection of children on the internet, the list goes on and on.
He makes a case that content creators have had direct contact with issues that actually affect pretty much everyone within the United States in this age of the internet. Think about DMCA, the Digital Millennium Copyright.
I think the addictive algorithms is probably like one of the things that I've become a slave to be completely honest. And it's really bad. Can't stop scrolling on YouTube, TikTok, Twitter. I will just spend hours scrolling. And I know I'm not alone in this. Thankfully, because I scroll, I get so informed on so many topics I usually wouldn't give a fuck about. And that allows me to push forward my career by being informed on so many different fucking things. If someone's not doing this as a job, they could just be losing hella time and essentially just burning time they could have had furthering their life, bettering their education, bettering their life. So I think some regulations to make it less addictive would be good, but that's going to be very difficult to do.
Copyright Act and how it was passed in 1998 and is still active today. Think about all the issues that have come with it and the legal battles that have fought about it within just YouTube alone. Now you might be thinking, does the CEC represent me, the viewer? Yes and no. The Creator Economy Caucus, by its name, is meant to represent the interests of content creators. This might mean things like raising awareness on certain issues, like how content creators might want to be included under the no tax on tips clause, or fairer revenue.
Bro, no tax on tips need to be brought to YouTube and Twitch. If I'm getting a sub, if I'm getting a dono, why the fuck is Twitch taking half? Explain that to me. Twitch, you can take 5% like your competition Kick does. Why the fuck are you getting 50%? For what, bro? For what?
Revenue splits from major platforms, or maybe a redraft of the DMCA.
That's not a tax? Well, it's on top of that, right? They're taking half and I'm getting taxed, right? So like a sub is supposed to give you $5. But then Twitch takes their 50%, and now that's $250. And then in the tax bracket I'm at, I'm losing around 34% of my fucking sub. So I take that $250 and I lose 34% more of that, and now all of a sudden I'm getting $1.78 out of every $5 I get.
On its face, their job is to let the House
How about we take the fucking tax money away from Twitch's cut? Why the fuck's it coming out of mine?
know exactly what content creators think about certain laws being passed. But MatPat specifically names issues that content creators have had direct contact with, so like online privacy, AI, protecting children on the internet, like I mentioned before. If you're watching this,
how about instead of protecting kids on the internet, how about we just don't let the kids on the internet? I'll be real. What does anybody underneath the age of 18 need to do on the internet? Fucking nothing, right? Let them play with their rocks, let them play with their sticks. You know, give them the old handheld Pokemon game. Why the fuck does a kid need a Twitter? Why does a kid need a Facebook? Right? And if you want to have a kid have a Facebook, make it a family plan. To where they have to have an ID and they can only interact with their ID'd family. And that's it. Why the fuck do they need to be on Twitter? Why the fuck does a 12-year-old need an Instagram? They don't. They fucking don't.
Video, then that means you're on the internet. You consume content every minute you are online almost. So chances are this directly impacts you. Having freedom on the internet, artists.
Like once again, they can go on like educational websites. They can go on like game websites, single player game websites. But kids don't need a social media account. A kid does not need a Twitter and an Instagram. They don't need a MySpace. They don't need a Facebook. They don't need that shit.
This competing against AI, your little brother, sister, cousins, or your child spending too much time on TikTok or YouTube and rotting their brain. All of these are issues that people online are very likely to have a deep interest in. On its most fundamental level,
I think you saying that we should have kids on social media really tells a lot about you, man. Zajev's being a firm advocate for letting kids on the internet. Zajev, why do you want kids on the internet so bad, man? Why do you want kids on the internet so bad? Why is that? Why do you think that is, chat?
This will directly influence the content creators that you subscribe to, and so it will absolutely influence the content that you consume. The outreach is massive. Now you might be thinking, why do content creators matter? Aren't they just a disruptive group of people on the internet making clickbait and doing anything for views? Well, no. Content creators aren't just this colorful cast of people you see on online platforms. With a significant following, they're independent small business owners on its face, producing merchandise and providing effective outlets for advertisers to put their brand on. Not only that, large enough creators hire people from video editors to cameramen to technical and production engineers that can manage a live stream. According to 2024 US YouTube Impact Report, YouTube's creative ecosystem contributed $55 billion to the US GDP, supporting the equivalent of 490,000 full-time jobs in the United States, and that's only what YouTube sees. The potential for Creator Economy Caucus is huge. If the House and other political figures regard it seriously, then you have to think about the kind of soft power and influence that MatPat will have and the other content creators that he lets in on the operation. Political candidates and representatives can theoretically get free advertising and outreach using his platform. Be honest, before this, have you ever heard of Beth Van Dyne or Yvette Clarke?
No,
probably
fucking idea.
not, but now their names are on your radar, and that's exactly the kind of influence creators can have. This one tweet over the announcement of a political caucus
insane.
that half the people replying don't even know what a political
nuts.
caucus is
Yeah.
has over 11 million views at the time of writing.
Yep.
How many people other than MatPat have a way to get that many people to watch one thing? Imagine if he was announcing a campaign to become US president. The internet would explode. The CEC's main prerogative is to educate lawmakers on the issues that matter to creators, and the issues that matter to creators can be the issues that matter to you. Actually, it absolutely would be, because you consume a lot of the content on the internet. Creators can gauge their community's concerns.
Yeah, it would also be nice to have someone who's trying to back up creators by having platforms not get away with just malpractice like Twitch has been getting away with. I think it's fucking ridiculous that every other platform has a better subsplit. And I think it's fucking ridiculous that every other platform has free features that Twitch is paying their users for. I think that's fucking nuts. Like, straight up. And it would be cool if, if people were just like, okay, well, I'll just watch on YouTube and Kick, but Twitch still has a massive fucking following, man, and they really need to be competitive with their practices, because it's just fucking over a lot of users who are loyal to their platform. It's fucking terrible.
Through metrics like watch time and
Like 6 minutes of ads per hour? That's fucking crazy.
engagement, data that can offer real insight into what online audiences care about. If you're an artist or a video editor, script writer, cameraman,
They
or
increased
just
the
someone
turbo
who
price, did
posts
they?
things online, and if you receive just a single penny from ad revenue, this matters to you. The potential for the CEC's outreach is enormous, and the amount of influence they can hold over lawmakers is potentially scary, but hopefully the fact that this group is intended to be bipartisan will mean that it involves itself directly related to issues on digital media or the creator ecosystem, so that creators everywhere and their audience can feel like they have a say in politics. What I really like about this move personally is that it can inspire generations of people to have an actual interest in politics and how we make our laws and how they can become active within this sort of realm. So, final question, which I said I would answer in the beginning: is MatPat running for president? No. But notably, this could be the humble beginnings of a political career. Most politicians begin by championing a niche issue and founding advocacy coalitions, caucuses, or nonprofits. Examples include Elizabeth Warren, who eventually helped create the CFPB before running the Senate, or Andrew Yang, who ran a nonprofit and advocated for UBI, Universal Basic Income, before running in the Democratic Party presidential primary of 2020. So you never know. He could be setting all that up. But that's just a theory. A game theory.
If you will.
If you found this breakdown
Good one.
helpful, give it a like and subscribe for more videos on interesting topics like this.
I think this is great, and I'm glad that I inspired so many content creators. You guys may not know this. I actually told a lot of content creators to make more channels where they discuss different topics by having more, because I told them to copy my More Tectone channel. More Redno. There's going to be a lot more coming, like more Saint, more Genizad, a lot of videos, and I'm glad that a lot of these creators took my advice. And I think that this video was a fucking banger, bro. Well-spoken, well-researched. It was great. And yeah, I think MatPat will absolutely kill it in pretty much whatever he does. He has a great speaking voice. He has a good head on his shoulders. He's had barely any controversy. I can honestly say I think that would be great for the whole political sphere. Oh, yeah, and MatPat's 38. God damn, he is old. He is old. Yeah, bro, but even still, he's like younger than everybody else. Dude, I think he has a good chance, man. I do. I think he has a great fucking chance. Well liked, well spoken, well researched. I think he's going to kill it. And I think we are going to see not president yet, maybe 2032, 2036. But for right now, man, it's kind of the future. I do think a lot of content creators that we're going to be seeing pivot to political issues down the line, because if anybody cares about the state of our country, of our people, they're going to be the ones with the people who interact with those people on a daily basis, because they do. Creators care because they have to deal with so many people every single day. So obviously they're going to benefit the world. And I think it's honestly great. I'm excited for Asmongold to become president in the next 20 years.